Started recording. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Entrepreneur vs. Intrapreneur series. This is our third interview, and I'm super excited for this one in particular because I have not heard Tash's story before. So if you do not know me, my name is Katerina. So I am your hostess for this interview series, and I am just here to talk to some incredible people that have been in both the entrepreneurship or network marketing industry and the entrepreneurship industry. And Tash is someone that's very, very special because from a very young age, she's just been a total badass. Like when she sent me through her bio, I was like, wait, what? Hang on, what? Sorry, what? Really? So I'm excited to ask you some questions. A few in particular. So before I get started, I'm going to just introduce Tash and who she is, read a little bio about her. If you have questions throughout this, just pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I have more than enough questions for everybody, let's be honest. So Tash actually dropped out of high school in year 10, and I cannot wait to hear what happened after that, and then got straight into real estate at 16. And she lives in a remote coastal community with a population of about 700. So I'm also curious about that. I feel like we're total opposites, but so the same. So great. So Tash created a business called Hideaway Management, and check them out on Instagram. You have done such a beautiful job at just creating this. It looks like a dreamland, honestly. Next time I go to Tasmania, I'm 1,000,000,000% booking in with you, honestly. So Tash joined network marketing in 2016, then launched her company about 3 years later, and then decided to step out of network marketing, but took all of the skills onto her new company. So I'm excited to ask you about that too. So the cool thing about what Tash is doing is she's actually using some of the concepts of network marketing like duplication to create a business where she doesn't have to be there all the time, but she's creating multiple offices, which I just think is so cool. Some of her core values and beliefs around business are back yourself, stay in your own lane. I'm so with you on that. Consistency, duplicatability, which is very network marketing, and work with people who are better than you, which I feel like you've got a few stories there. And also getting out of your comfort zone and allowing the process to happen, aka the power of the universe. So that, my friend, I need your help with because I'm not very good at that. So I can't wait to hear how you actually grasp that concept. It's something that I'm personally working on. And the other random things about Tash is that she's actually building her business to a stage where it actually is self-operational already and no longer requires her, which is so badass. I love that. It means that she doesn't need to trade her time for money. She still gets to do what she loves. Look at her. She's gorgeous. She's contributing. She's sharing her story. Like, what a beautiful human. And she's currently considering other things and creating other investments, such as a gin label, which I say, why not? So Tash, thank you for being here so much. I am so excited to get to know you. And I'm so excited that you actually reached out to want to be a part of this interview series. And I actually have no idea how we're connected on social. So how did we even come to be?
But firstly, yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I think, when I saw that you were doing the series, I was kind of like, oh, feel like I could, maybe participate in this discussion, and also, talking about the power of the universe. Before what you put out, you get back. So I was kind of like, right. I've never done an interview really about my business or anything like that. So I was like, I'm going to give it a go and see what kind of happens. I followed you for a really, really long time since early network marketing days. So it's probably since when did I start? 2016, 2017, I've probably followed you since then. So early, network marketing days. And I think I was so young starting network marketing. And when I did start, a lot of young people were only just starting to look at it. So you were also kind of in that kind of age bracket. So I found you really influential in my early days in the network marketing industry.
That's so interesting. Do you know what's funny? I remember it was me and one other girl were the only millennials in our network marketing company in this country when I started. Like, we would go to conferences. There was only like 300 people in the room at that stage. Now there's like thousands. So we would go to conferences. Everyone was like older mums, older ladies, all of that. And then her and I like locked eyes across this room and we're like, we are going to be friends, because we were the only young people. We were the only ones without kids. It was bizarre. And now you would think that network marketing is a primarily millennial business. Like, you don't see many older women still contributing and still participating and still joining up. So it's crazy how things just change. But like you said, law of attraction, meant to be. And I can't wait to hear your story about how you even got into network marketing. So firstly, tell me a little bit about yourself pre-business. What is it that you were doing? You mentioned that you dropped out of school and you went straight to real estate. So
Yeah.
was that your first like job?
Yeah. So I obviously had like casual jobs when I was younger, you know, KFC, Subway, you know, looked really good with their little fast food hats. And then my family always really had a rule. And it's funny because I actually never had any idea what I really wanted to do with my life, essentially. I was 14 when I got pulled into the pathway planners office at school. And they were pretty much like, what do you want to do with your life? We need to start planning it out now. And I was kind of like, I don't know. I had no idea. And the rule within my family was you're either earning or you're learning. So, you know, you're not going to be living under our roof, not doing anything. You got to be doing something. And I'll come back to that later because everything that I'm doing now, it's kind of flowed in a really meant to be way. So yeah, I really started looking around at jobs at about 16. I was getting ready to, we don't have the flow through here in Tasmania like you do, I suppose, on the mainland, where you finish high school at year 10 and then you can go on to college to do year 11 and 12. And I was having to pick my subjects for year 11 and 12, and I was like, I don't want to do anything. I've got no desire to go to university. I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing. And I started looking online at real estate jobs, and there was a couple of jobs in Hobart, and I'm from northern Tasmania, so in southern Tasmania there were some jobs, and I mentioned it to a friend whose brother worked in the industry, and pretty much said, I'm leaving my job to go and join this startup agency. They need admin help. So at 16, they offered me like a traineeship admin position, and that was within a startup. So they were only a couple months old at the time. And it was working out of their garage. And my mum was like, this is the dodgiest thing. She was like dropping me off work. And I swear she kept doing drive-bys like, just to make sure that I was okay. And I ended up being with them for quite a few years, and I really worked my way through the ropes. So at 16, by the time I was 18, I was managing their sales force and really running the show for them there. And they were really revolutionary as a company in the Launceston market. You know, they were one of the first agencies across the country to really start doing videography and all of those kinds of things. So they were really changing the game. And I think that's where I got the mindset of, right, I'm going to challenge this industry and I'm going to be the difference in it somehow. And I didn't know how or what that really looked like, but you really got that passion and drive from there. I then, funnily enough, at 18, I actually pitched the idea for what I do now, vacation rental management, to the owners of that company. I called them in for a meeting, and obviously I felt at the time that they valued my opinion to hear me out. And I actually got laughed out of that meeting room. And 1 month later, I left that company. So it's really funny, you know, when you talk about how people make you feel within that environment. It was as if that one decision how they reacted to that, that was it for me. And I was like, I'm not valued here, I'm not respected here. And then I went to another startup, and I then worked with 2 other startups. So I became the admin go-to person for startup real estate companies in Launceston up the north. So I then helped start up 2 other real estates up there. And then I was introduced to network marketing. And it's really funny because I think the reason I was drawn to network marketing in the first place was solely for the peer group. You know, I know that you talked about your peer group with Lauren, and I, being so young in the industry, I really didn't have that. You know, all my friends were 18, 19, they were partying, and I was kind of like, I wanted something more. And I always knew that I had this strong desire for something more in my life. I know it's a bit, you know, out there, but it's like you just kind of know. And I really flew into network marketing, chasing that peer group, I suppose.
Do you know what's so interesting? I have this theory, and I feel like you just proved it.
Yeah.
Because my partner's going through something similar. So my partner's been in real estate for 15 years. And when COVID happened, he decided to step out of that for a couple of different reasons. But every single place he goes, nothing seems to work out. Like, he keeps butting heads with people. People keep being flaky. Like, just not, like, everything he touches is not working. And him and I both have this theory. It's because he's not meant to work for somebody. He's meant to be the boss, because he's had his own real estate agency before. He had his own car detailing business. And I've got this theory that people who are meant to lead find it really hard to follow. Like, they find it that if they don't give up on the position, then the position will reject them. Almost like, you know, rejection is universal protection. So with you, it's almost like you had to get to that stage of frustration where you're like, oh, like I can't work for anyone else. I'm better off doing it myself. Is that kind of how you ended up feeling? Like how you ended up getting into your own business anyway? Is just that frustration?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I think everybody has the hatred of working for somebody else. Hatred is probably not the right word, but yeah, definitely. It was kind of like I always was, and it's really funny, we're talking about entrepreneurship today, and if you Google the definition of entrepreneurship, obviously a lot of people relate it to network marketing, but I'm just going to read out the definition. So entrepreneurship is a system wherein the principles of entrepreneurship are practiced within the boundaries of a firm. So an entrepreneur is a person who takes responsibility to innovate new ideas, products, and processes of any new invention within any organization. And I found myself being an entrepreneur in every single workplace that I was going into, and it was not well received. So, and I look back now with hindsight and I actually see it. I see it within a lot of companies that my friends work for, or even companies that friends own. Business owners can be threatened by entrepreneurs within their own company, and that is the wrong mentality to have. And I remember saying this to you when we were chatting via message, saying I search for entrepreneurs in my business. I want to hire entrepreneurs. I want to treat them well, and I want to let them, run the show. If you're threatened by people doing well within your organization, it's clearly something else that's underlying that. So, and I definitely felt like that's kind of how I was received.
Do you think, like when I was reading your core values, one that I haven't heard, like there's a few things that, most people say, but the one that really stood out to me was work with people better than you, like bring people on that are better than you, that are smarter than you. I actually wanted to talk to you about this. And now it makes sense because you were treated that way and you knew the value that you could have added to that business and you were so unappreciated. Do you think that's why you search for that now because it related to you? Or do you just think it's good business practice to always bring people in who have better skills than you?
Bit of both, definitely. And I think that the key thing is when you're going into business, a lot of people prolong or delay starting their business because they assume they have to know everything. And, you need to be okay within yourself. You got to go, you know what, it's okay that I don't know anything. I, more often than not, will sit down with in a meeting with my staff or with my accountant and I'll be like, I've got no idea. Can you shed some light on this? Like, let's learn together. So when I'm looking for people to hire, ideally, I'm looking to hire people that have more knowledge in whatever area I need than I do. Because I'm going to learn from them. Ideally, they're going to learn from me and we're going to grow together. And in that sense, the business grows and it gets better. Perfect example, obviously, when I launched Hideaway Management, the first office on Bruny Island. So for those of you who don't know, we are a tourism real estate collective. So we specialise in management of short stay holiday homes accommodation. So exactly the same structure as a real estate company. The only difference is instead of 12-month tenancies, I've got guests coming in and out every single day. So I take care of everything for property owners. And when I launched on Bruny Island, we're a really remote community at the bottom of the world, I had the initial plan to outsource a lot of my, say, labour. So my cleaning and all of that kind of stuff and maintenance and anything like that was going to be outsourced. I then realised not possible in a remote community until you're on said scale. So I then had to go and create that in-house. Then learned I'm a clean person, but I'm not a very clean person to like hotel quality standards. So I tracked down a superstar cleaner and she was absolutely amazing. And she taught me literally everything from how to clean a toilet properly to how to make beds properly, to how to set and style homes. And I learned everything I could from her. She actually then ended up recently, about 6 months ago, purchasing the labour division from me. So now my labour is outsourced as per my original vision. And then, so she now runs our labour force for us, essentially. So when I talk about, hiring people better than you, I talk about it's okay for you to not know everything. A lot of people feel like they need to know everything before they go and launch the company they've been dreaming of, or, you figure it out as you go along, and you probably know a lot more than you think, and it comes back into what I also said earlier, backing yourself, like back the knowledge that you've got. And, the main reason we question ourselves are normally because of other people's opinions. So, you stay in your own lane and you focus on you and you back the knowledge that you've got and the decisions you're making, and you're fine.
With your mindset, okay, honest conversation. Did you get frustrated in network marketing when people didn't listen to your advice?
Yes.
You sound like you're an excellent boss. Like you have a great, like a management mentality. Being a leader, though, I find in network marketing, one of my biggest frustrations is trying to pull people up, but because they have a choice, because they're not employed by you and you're not necessarily the one screening them, recruiting them, like anyone can join your business. Was that a point of frustration for you, like with your particular personality and skill set?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it's funny because I kind of look back now at my network marketing journey, and I loved it, and I would never ever change it for the world. I tell every single person who wants to start a business, like, but doesn't know what, look at network marketing, start there, learn, grow, change, adapt. But I look back now with hindsight and go, I don't believe I truly treated my network marketing business as a business.
Wow.
And I look back now and I see what I do now, and it's kind of like, I look back and went, oh yeah, was that a hobby to me? And I look back and I now know what I wanted to gain from it. Whereas at the time, I don't think I was aware. So, you know, I attended every single conference. I went to every single conference, every single DA event. I went to like everything that I could go to. And it was that peer group that I was chasing, like-minded people that were like me. And every time I remember going to an event, I was sitting there going, how can I take this and channel it into a traditional business?
Wow.
And because at the end of the day, my passion was property. I fell in love with the property industry. And I'd go to a conference or I'd go to an event and I'd come back and be like, how could we integrate? I suppose it's a virtual world, you know, it's a free virtual world, and it's the lack of trading time for money. Whereas real estate's so, you know, you work the hours, you do this, you've got to sell this to earn commission. But if you commission only as a sales agent, and then, you know, you've got 10 grand from that sale, you only sell one property for the year, that's all you've got. So it's kind of like, you know, how do we take this and really challenge it, I suppose, into a modern world? So that really came over into Hideaway Management when I launched. I was kind of like, you know, I looked at kind of every different way. So, but Hideaway runs digitally 100%. So we are pretty much paperless. I got, you know, bits of paper here and there, but majority of the time we are paperless. Everything runs online. I'm currently in Hobart at the moment chatting with you. I've got my assistants and admins. They are on Bruni today working, and we chat via email. They have access to everything that they need to be able to see from me. All of our softwares run online. I can communicate with any single guest that I've got anywhere in the state via an online app. That was pretty much custom designed for Hideaway. So that was really the vision that I wanted. I was like, how can I create a company that's within my passions without being limited to an area? And not only that, I didn't want to have masses of expenses of stuff, if that makes sense. I didn't want to have, you know, like when I talk about the labor team, my decision to get rid of the labor team was not my passion. It was actually a frustration for me every single day to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it made me hate what I was doing. And I remember I sat back once and I remember being like, I actually don't recognize the company that I've created. And wow. I was just like, I've got no idea what's going on. I'm not happy with it. And I was just like, 100% of my focus was on said labor division and making sure that was running daily. And as soon as I turned that off, we tripled within less than a month.
Oh,
like
wow.
That's because we had a waiting list of properties to come on that was waiting for me to have the time to be ready. So It's literally like, you know, we took on masses of properties within a month. So after getting rid of that labor company. So it's really funny, you know, you've got to be really selective of your time. And of course, nerve-wrackingly enough, I said goodbye to a massive portion of income during that. So
sourcing that
through getting rid of that labor company. So it was a risk. I didn't actually ever view it as a risk. I knew that it was happening because, you know, it was just like, that is what it is. But it was a bit of a risk palming it off, but I knew that it was going to come back to me in foresight. And now, you know, I have a company that I can enjoy, I suppose.
It's almost like energetic expansion. Like when you're filled with stress, like we only have a certain amount of decisions we can make a day, a certain amount of thought we can give, a certain amount of energy. And if you're giving your energy to stress, to worry, to frustration, then there's no room for joy. And that's something that I think is very network marketing, because it's people, right? Like when you're giving to people, which is what you seem to do, you're leading, you're inspiring, you're promoting, all of that takes positive energy. It takes, like, people would be coming to your business because it's a reflection of you. If you're feeling like shit, then your business's energy is going to be low and it's not going to be attractive to anybody else. And I feel like that's super transferable between network marketing, but also just entrepreneurship, especially when you are the figurehead, like you are Hideaway Management, like there's not 100 yous. So that makes total sense why that would have just been such an incredible relief.
And it's funny because I wrote down some things that I thought might pop up that I'd want to talk about, because I tend to get carried away, and I can yap, so I tend to get carried away. But I've got a note here to be really conscious of burnout, and I think that's kind of exactly what we were talking. A lot of people tend to just overwork. I'm a new business owner; they've got to push themselves, and they work crazy days, which of course we all do. It's what you do in a startup. You work at times when other people are having dinner, or you do that, but when you are burnt out, and your body tells you when you're burnt out, so learn to listen to your body. You'll wake up one morning, your eyes are struggling to open, and your nose is blocked. It's your body saying, hold on, you need to sleep for an extra couple hours. When you're burnt out, you are no good to anyone. You are no good to your staff. You are no good to your team, your network marketing team. You're no good to your clients. When you're not on your A game, you may as well not be there. And that's my mentality on it. So if I wake up and I go, oh, I've got 10 things to do today, but I'm feeling burnt out, it's like, cool, I'll do those 10 things tomorrow, because I know when I'm on my A game, I can do 20 million things in a day compared to just the 10, and I can do them better. So it's like, I struggled with that for a really long time, to be completely honest, because what happens, whether it's network marketing or business, is you do the whole, oh, I feel bad, but I should be working, I should be doing something, and you beat yourself up about it. You sit down, you really go, oh, I'm so lazy, like I should be doing something, I need to be getting up and moving. And it's just that mentality, you need to get rid of it. And I know it's really, really hard, but like I said, when you're burnt out, you're no good to anyone, and you're not as productive as you can be. And you're allowed to have the downtime, and the downtime makes you better at your job. And when I'm assuming we'll talk about scheduling a little bit more, but I run a very color-coded calendar that all my staff have access to. And I have sections that are Tash time. Like, do not call, do not talk, send me an email if you need something, but this is Tash time. It can wait until after this 2-hour block. And sometimes, I won't take the Tash time in that, but I'll, just keep working or do something. But it's there for me to know no one's going to call me during this time. If I just want to sit on the couch and put on, a bit of brain numbing while I can ponder my thoughts, I do. But also, I come up with some of my best ideas during that time. So, when you have time to sit back and really think in hindsight, that's when best things are created.
My Tash time is? Mine is always, which I used to get really frustrated at, but now I'm just like, I'm harnessing the fact that it's just consistently there. When I'm falling asleep, that's when everything has to freaking happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially around between, it used to be from midnight to 2 a.m. Now I've like wound it back. It's sort of like 10, 11 midnight. I will wake up at any one time and my brain's like going, I'm thinking of box design ideas. I'm thinking of what shape can I send these pouches that they're not going to break. I'm thinking of, oh my God, I need to message that person. Like, all of my creative thought and all of my processing happens at nighttime. And it used to really frustrate me. Like, I used to just sit there and be like, oh, I just want to sleep. What I've done is I get a little notebook now. And then I just shine my light. I write down whatever I need to write down, circle, or I draw pictures or whatever I've just come up with in the middle of the night. And then I go back to sleep. Yep. And then in the morning I wake up and I look at what I've come up with while I'm half asleep, because that's when I'm actually relaxed. That's when I'm not focused on task, or like you said, helping somebody else or giving or contributing. That's my creative time. So you're lucky yours is in the middle of the day. Mine's super inconvenient.
No, mine used to be at night, and still sometimes it is. And it's funny because I've done that so many times, and I haven't nailed writing things down, because quite often I'll look at my bit of paper and go, I've got no idea. And I'll show it to my assistant and they'll try and decipher my notes, and I'll be like, I've got no idea. And it'll normally come to me in a couple of days and I'll remember something. Yeah. But yeah, no, my brain definitely runs at night as well. My brain constantly runs. I think it's just part of, you learn to accept it, you learn to deal with it, you learn to know that your brain's always going to be on, because, at the end of the day, you're passionate. If your brain's probably running at 100 miles an hour, you're either really stressed to the nines or you're really passionate about what you're doing. And if you are stressed, then you probably need to channel the type of stress that it is and go, right, is this good stress? Is this stress that I want? Or is this stress that's really negatively impacting me, and what can I do to fix it? I believe that you need to make stress your friend, because if you're going to run, say a network marketing company and a traditional business, you need to be able to work under pressure. And as I've heard you talk about multiple times, Kata, you switch from different hats 20 different million times a day. You can't help it. You need to be able to switch. And, if you're burnt out, you can't do that. So, you've got to be really adaptable.
So when did you make the decision to actually leave network marketing? Like, you were getting your peer group out of it. Tell me about the thought process that went from this is no longer serving me, or it's no longer, like, what was the decision to drop that? And was that after you started Hideaway? Were you doing both at once? Like, tell me about that process of moving from one to the other.
It kind of happened naturally, I think, when I packed up and moved to Bruny Island. So for those of you who don't know, and I definitely recommend Googling it, Bruny Island is a tiny island off the bottom of Tasmania. So you catch a ferry there from Kettering, about 40 minutes from Hobart. It's a 15-minute ferry trip, and the island is very large. It's the same landmass as Singapore. A lot of people don't realise how big it is. It's a very big island. A lot of farmland. You probably love it, Kata. Beaches, wine, whiskey, gin, cheese, food.
I'm going.
I'm in heaven, yeah. That's literally what we're known for. We're known for grog and food. So it's, great. But I moved there because it's, once again, coming back to that whole meant to be thing. When I started in real estate, it's also when I traveled to Bruny for the first time, and I got this really weird obsession with it. There was something about it that was just calling me, and I was like, I am meant to be here. And I was having a conversation with my mum one night over a bowl of red, and it was when there was like a big lotto win, and everyone talks about the lottery. Oh, what would you do if you won? And I said, I'd move to Bruny Island, or I'd love to retire there. And she's like, you're 20 years old. Like, what do you mean retire there? Like, go now. And I was like, oh, yep, you're right. So that was a Thursday. I resigned on the Friday, and my car was packed, and I was on Bruny Island the Monday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't mess around. Like, when my mind's on, I was like, yep, I'm on, that'll do. And I did not, and I moved there. The only income I had was my network marketing income, and which was satisfactory, but obviously I, wanted more. And I kind of planned on just living out of my car until I figured it out with my dog. So my dog came with me, my car was packed, and I've gotten there. What do you do when you rock on an island that's known for wine? You go to the winery. So I did. I went to the winery for a tasting, and I got chatting with this lady behind the bar, who I didn't know at the time was the owner. And she's like, what are you doing here? And I said, oh, I just did this. And she was like, oh, I'm actually looking for a cellar door manager. And I knew quite a bit about wine because I like to drink it. So I knew enough about wine to kind of run the cellar door. And she was like, oh, yep, cool. You can start tomorrow, and I've got accommodation for you. And I was just like meant to be here. And then I think when I started kind of pondering over the idea of Hideaway, I naturally gravitated away from network marketing. And like I said, because I was so obsessed with the peer group, when I moved to a new area where there wasn't a peer group anymore, I naturally just fell away. Like I said, when I look back at hindsight, I never really treated it as the business that I should have. And that it's funny because it's coached into, are you treating your network marketing business as a business? And I'd always be like, yes, I am. I look back now and go, hell no, I was not. There's so much more that I could have done, and things like that. So yeah, I think I was just a natural progression in the way that I fell away from it. When I started really coming up with the idea for Hideaway, it just naturally happened.
That's so funny because, like, even though you used it as a stepping stone, you still recommend it to people. You still tell people how fantastic it is. Do you think some people have the ability to do an entrepreneur business that perhaps don't have the entrepreneur gene? Like, do you think entrepreneurship is teachable, or do you think it's a personality? Because I believe entrepreneurship you cannot teach. I believe you either have that drive, that desire, that obsession to build something, or you don't. Entrepreneurship, what do you think?
Firstly, I 100% agree with you regarding entrepreneurship, and I'll actually send you a link to an article because it's really interesting. It's actually something I'm really passionate about. Obviously, I talked about me dropping out of school and I struggled with the education system. They're actually doing research now on how to pick up entrepreneurial traits in children, and you can actually pick them up on children as young as 3 or 4. You can actually pick up. Yeah, I'll send it through to you. It's really fascinating. Like insane. And I sit there and go, wow, that was definitely me as a kid. It's to an extent, I definitely think entrepreneurship could be taught. And I think it's got a lot to do with probably the environment they're in. You know, you put an entrepreneur in an environment with entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, they're probably going to pick up, you know, and be a reflection of their environment. But I also, this could be a bit controversial, I also believe like entrepreneurship for me was not enough. Like it was, I wanted more. And and whether I stayed with network marketing or not, I definitely would have done something else or invested in something else. And even now, like I'm an entrepreneur now with successful business, and it's not enough. So I'm just forever looking for something new, something different. But yeah, I definitely recommend everyone who has entrepreneurial qualities definitely looks at network marketing. I rave about it. I think it's a really great industry and for me, it was a confidence raiser. It was a really like, let's look inside yourself. Let's look at your mentality. Let's look at the way that it made me better at work. Like, let's look at the way you how consistent you are, how you plan your days. It was really like, it is a stepping stone, of how you can plan everything out, and it's given to you on a platter. It's literally a business in a platter, and it's given to you and it's gone, cool, you follow these steps and you're going to be running a business. And then naturally, I just kind of took those steps into starting a business. Without network marketing, I actually would not have had any idea where to start.
Wow.
And I would not have had the mental strength, I don't think, to have done it. And it's the discipline. It's the daily discipline of like, right, I'm self-employed. I don't need to get up and do this for myself. I would not have had that without network marketing, my experience with that.
Wow, it's so funny because so many people like not even take it for granted, but don't appreciate or see the fact that there's so much given to you in network marketing. It's one of my personal major frustrations, having run 2 other businesses outside of network marketing and then showing up every day to my network marketing business. And it's the same thing over and over and over, right? With different products and different promotions and, different team, but essentially it's the same thing. And once you master that, it's a skill set for life. And then, like you said, it's consistency and discipline. But I feel like the perspective I feel like people look up at network marketing as if it's hard instead of, that might have come out wrong, but probably not. Like, instead of looking at what we actually get given. Do you think now, having seen what you have as an entrepreneur, if you were to go back in time and do network marketing again, do you think you would have done it differently?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's funny because I still definitely do what I'm doing now, but I definitely would have gone back in and treated it more of the business that it was. And it's right down to, kind of everything you said. It's like, people don't realize what you're given. Like, not only are you given, like, essentially literally a business in the box, but you then talk about the behind the scenes stuff of policies, procedures, like legislation requirements, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not just
in the alcohol industry. It's like
all the behind the scenes stuff that entrepreneurs solely would probably not really consider. And I don't mean that in an offensive way, because I also did not consider it when I was starting. I launched my business as a sole trader, and I lasted 3 weeks until my accountant was like, you need to transfer over to the company, we need to do it now. Like, it was like, I was just kind of like, this is just going to be a hobby, it's going to be fun, I'll like keep working in cellar door and I'll just kind of do this on the side. And it was, yeah. So, and then from there, once being registered as a company, it's, okay, you need, or you work for yourself on safety procedures, you like all that kind of stuff that you don't realize are covered for you by said network marketing company that you receive. You are literally there in a network marketing company to go out to brand yourself and to brand the products. And, it depends on what you want to get out of it. Are you after income, or are you after, steps and procedures and to learn and to grow? Are you after the environment like I was? I was not income motivated in network marketing. And funnily enough, I'm still not income motivated, which I know sounds really, really weird, because obviously everyone loves money. I have the exact same opinion on money as you do. And I actually got so excited. I was jumping around the house when you shared on your story the other day.
Brand.
Yes. And I was literally like, yes. And for those of you who did not see that story, the opinion is essentially, and I live by it, my mother hates it. My friends don't understand it, but it is, why would you diminish your lifestyle and, pretty much spend your life saving money when you have every ability to go out and do something to earn more? And I live my life off this, and but with that, once again, coming back, so it's like I live my life based on that. It's not like, I want this, cool, I better go earn some more money. And but with that being said, my motivation is really time time freedom over my life, which naturally comes in turn of obviously earning income. You know, the more I grow, the more I progress, you know, the more properties come into my portfolio, the better systems that I've got to have, which means that gives me more time. And, you know, time's no fun if you don't have money. So it's, but yeah, I've always, even in network marketing, I was really, time motivated. I really wanted the time for my life. Any corporate job I ever had, you know, I take less money to have extra annual leave time. So it was, like I've always been really time and holiday motivated. And then now I get to a stage where I am now, and I kind of look and I go, oh, I've got too much time, I need to do more. So hence why, you know, we talk about me looking at other things. So, sorry, my dog's outside rolling around. It's very funny.
God, that's so interesting. I just feel like we share so many of the same mindset patterns. I absolutely just love it. Tell me about, so you mentioned that discipline and consistency was a challenge in network marketing. Did you find any other challenges in network marketing, or was that it? Was that the one thing that got in your way?
I found network marketing, how do I word this? Because I don't want to word this in a way that deters people away from it, but I also want to be genuinely honest and real. I found network marketing mentally hard. And what I mean when I say that is I found the rejection from people, you know, you'd be talking to people and people are like, no, not really, no, not for me, no, not for me, mentally hard. And that actually, at the time, I now realize now that actually had a lot to do with how I felt about myself.
Oh, wow.
Than it did, you know, them saying anything at all, if that makes sense. So it was kind of like, I really need to take the time, because I struggled with it when I launched my startup as well, with just the I'm not good enough, or no one likes it, or no one's going to think it's a good idea, or people doubting me, or anything like that. I really started with that in the start of Hideaway as well. And, you know, since then I've really put in the steps to kind of go, hold on, I'm the shit. Like, it's okay. Like, you know, and let's move past it and let's grow. And I think that was the hardest thing I found in my network marketing journey, was really, for me, it was the journey of self-discovery. It was a journey of being okay. And, you know, someone says no to me now about anything, or I'm just like, oh yeah, that's like, it doesn't, like, I wouldn't even bat an eyelid at it, whereas it used to really tear me up when I was in my network marketing journey.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And do you think it's like priming? I feel like network marketing, once you have been in it long enough and you understand the basics, like you understand the basics of sales, of client care, of follow-up, of all these like basic skills, right? That transfer to business. But once you understand rejection, I think it stops tearing you up. I think it gives you a new lease, like a new power, a new ability, a new energy, a new motivation, because again, it's not draining energy. It's just like nullifying it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I'm particularly grateful for network marketing. Number one, the follow-up and the client care and the communication and the systems, but understanding that rejection is not personal. Because I used to be the same. The only difference was when I started my business, my dad had been diagnosed with cancer, and in my head, he was like dying. So I was like, I don't care. Like, and thank goodness, because I was not a strong enough person to deal with rejection at that age and at that time. But because I had this big buffer of the love that I had for my dad, that's what allowed me to move through all those rejections. Whereas a lot of people don't have such a powerful, strong driving force. So it's like, I get it. It's like a punch to the face the first, 100 times you get told no.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. But it's also something you can't teach. It's an experience-based thing, right? Like, I think most people probably care about being rejected or start to question their own abilities, start to doubt, are they good in business if things are not working out? When really it's sales, it's numbers, it's psychology, it's all of these like laws of the world that when you do it long enough, you realize it's a pattern. So last question that I'm going to ask, actually last two questions. What do you wish more people would know or understand about being a business owner? So entrepreneurship first, like if you were to give a piece of advice for people in entrepreneurship or considering entrepreneurship, what would it be? And then the same thing for entrepreneurship.
So people obviously going into network marketing, and I've said it a couple of times, treat it as a business that it is. You are delivered a business in a box, and a lot of people, myself included, really underestimate the value of that. Operate it as if you have created this from the ground up. Treat it as if it is your brand, your company, and run it. Run with it, and find your passion in it. And you've really got to have a strong why, I suppose, a reason for doing it to have that drive. You talked about your dad. You've got to find your driver, but yeah, treat it as a business is definitely my biggest thing for network marketing and entrepreneurs in the network marketing industry. Entrepreneurs in general, I suppose, when we talk about, having entrepreneurs within other corporations or in the corporate world, it's really hard. I'm not saying go out and quit your jobs, but I'm going to say find a place where you're valued. A lot of workplaces do not value entrepreneurs, and once you now start to think about it, you might start to realize particular character traits and why these people might be reacting to you in a certain way. And more often than not, they are normally threatened by your ideas. I actually had a friend down to visit me for the weekend, and they're going through a very similar thing with the company that they work for. And I literally said, the reason that you're getting treated like this is because they're threatened. And he went, like, you literally saw the penny drop in his brain. He went, oh my God, like, I didn't mean to come across that way. Like, I've got no intention of leaving them. But they're threatened by the ideas, and that's a very natural company reaction. And I also feel like people coming into modern business are now more starting to work with people like that. A lot of old school business owners are still very threatened by the competition, whereas we, as I think I'm a Gen Z millennials, we have the knowledge and the ideas that you treat your staff well, you treat anybody that comes into your environment well, they will stay with you and they will do anything for you. So yeah, that would probably be my advice for them. And for entrepreneurs, I am very brutal when it comes to this. I do not have patience for people to be like, oh, I think I could do this, but I don't know how, or I don't know what this, or I don't know that. I hate excuses. It's probably also why I ended up not doing too great in network marketing. Not that I didn't do too great, that I left network marketing. Is I don't have the patience for excuses. You do it, and once you're doing the do, then you call me and want advice. But I'm not here to boost you up to tell you, oh, you can do it, or you've got to believe that within yourself. So you've got to back yourself and go, I can do this. I believe in myself that I can. But not only that, you do not have to know everything. There are people out there, there are accountants, there are business advisors. Every single state in Australia through their local councils have got business advice services. So go and chat with one of them. They'll help you do a business plan. They'll help you cost out everything if you have proper products. Go and chat with them. But yeah, back yourself and know that you can do it, and figure it out as you go, because you might think you need to know X, Y, Z. You might not need to know X, Y, Z until 2 years later. So you could have been 2 years into business before X, Y, Z became something that you needed to know, and then you educate yourself on it. So I'm really strong on that. You just jump in, do it. I become obsessed with the idea of failure, like fall in love with potentially failing, because like my business now is successful, but if I think about every single thing that I did that failed within the startup of it, I'd just be like, oh God, like, from everything from software's not working to ideas not working to my entire like structure, like not working, like everything that I structured didn't work. So then I had to completely restructure and rebrand. And it's like, you're going to fail multiple times. And that's where you learn and you grow. And, in my experience, I spent, my business was set up kind of similar, but nothing like a network marketing structure, but on the sense that it's all online based, and it's designed to be duplicated efficiently and easily, because all the hard labor is outsourced. So once I nailed my structure, which took me about 1.5 years, there was nothing stopping me from opening any number of offices and duplicating this system anywhere in Australia, the world, blah, blah, blah. But now that I've got it set up, it's literally easily duplicatable. So, yeah, just do it. Do it and figure out the rest later.
Oh, such great advice. You need to do more of these interviews. You're really good at them. All right, last question before we wrap it up, my girl. What is your next goal and what are you working towards?
Oh, I knew this was coming, and it's funny because I'm at a stage now where I am actively looking for the next thing. So obviously, Hideaway Management operates in Bruny Island now. We've just opened our second office in Hobart, which is southern Tasmania, and we have a third office coming in September down the Tasman Peninsula region, so also coastal region. So they're all in the pipeline, obviously, for this year. So we're all starting to, potter away behind the scenes and branding and marketing and targeting those areas for management within that portfolio. Definitely longer term, I think I am obviously wanting to be statewide across Tasmania. The reason I am expanding more slowly is because I still like to have my fingers in whatever's going on. I like to be in control of everything, and you know, I think that comes naturally with you know, when it is your baby. You know, I'm a single Gen Z. I've got a dog. I don't have any kids. I don't have a husband.
You're
it's like
all
this
in.
is my life. This is my child, you know, and even my dog sees the computer and he's like, well, I'm going outside. Like, he knows. But with that being said, I'm also working on some of my own accommodation ideas. So I'm looking at building some of my own on Bruny Island in particular. So a particular accommodation village. And I am a huge wine and gin lover. So I've just started the process of really pondering over a gin label, and I'm really early pondering, but I can't stop thinking about it. And when I can't stop thinking about something, it normally sticks.
It's happening.
And I'm just going to figure it out as I go along, as I do everything. But you know, I'm a big believer of putting things out to the universe and seeing how they flow and they fall through. So the more that I talk about these things I'm looking at doing, the more I kind of know they're going to kind of come from something. So yeah, I'm just pottering away down here in cold Tasmania.
Oh, well, I love it. You are an incredible human. I am so excited by everything you have built. I'm so excited that you're starting to talk more about it, find more opportunities to talk, because your story is so incredibly inspiring. You are a powerful woman. I know we are going to see much, much more of you in the future, because girlfriend, you are on fire, and at such a young age. Like, oh, I'm just so excited to see what you can create. And for sure, without a doubt, I know everyone that watches this, if anyone goes to Tasmania, they're going to be going to you, to your well manicured, perfectly bedsheet folded, well styled, gorgeous accommodation, myself included. So thank you so much, beautiful girl. I know there's a lot of people that's going to be watching this recording. I know it's going to be shared around. So I appreciate your time. You are absolutely amazing. And thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this Entrepreneur versus Intrapreneur series and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.